Okay. So as a customary, so we're going to start with the basics and microservices and its fundamentals, and most importantly, what we try to communicate today is developing or building the way of thinking that that this microservices developer or an implementer needs to have. Just to make this more useful for all of us, I'd like to get some information from the audience, some insight. Who are the guys who have experience with commercial microservices development or deployment? Can I have hands? Any guys who are having who are actually doing production deployment or working on a product like that? Or we have a couple of guys here. Any guys who are having who are working microservices and related technologies, but not in commercial terms, but in other like development activities. We have a couple, and I hope the rest of you guys are newbies. Am I correct? Yes. All right. So that is good information for the expert panel to gauge and when they go into the details, to what extent they should go. Right? Okay. If I tell you the lineup of items, how we have structured this session today is that we're going to touch upon on the introduction, the basics, the fundamentals, and we will be talking about benefits of microservices and serverless architecture and the challenges associated with it. Okay, and finally the best practices. So since a lot of you guys are newbies, we'll try to start from simple, and we'll try to start from the things that you already know and then transform into the new things that you come to learn. And of course there are few simple etiquettes. So this session will be moderated, and we're going to time frame. We also, but we can allow some spontaneous questions if you guys find anything irresistible that you need to ask. Okay. But of course you can talk to these guys after the session. But feel free to raise questions if you have any doubts. Okay, so you guys have to share the microphone. So I'll start with the basic question. That is on the fundamentals. So I know that if you search this thing in Google, that's one thing that we do on every new term that you find in Google it. So you'll find dozens of definitions, different perspectives on what microservices and what serverless architecture is. So I'd like to know from my experts panel what a microservices is, and basically explaining how do you perceive. There can be multiple views on this. How do you perceive a microservice? Especially, I know everybody is familiar with SOA, right? Service-oriented architecture. So you know that runs with it. If you could compare or contrast SOA and give us some light on what is meant by microservice. I'd like to move to Ashan first, then we'll proceed. Yeah, keep it static, but you're doing this.
Okay, good evening everyone. So, in my perspective, if I think about a microservice, it's basically lightweight virtualizing or say a single process run, business contextual service. And if I compare that with the traditional SOA, the main differences are especially lightweight. So that's one key thing. And another thing is it's tightly down coupled with the DevOps. In terms of if you compare SOA, it's not necessary to have these kind of things, but it's microservices, you have to build these things fast, small, and deploy. So these DevOps play quite a huge role in terms of microservices. That's kind of my perspective of microservices.
All right. So let me take an example. For example, let's assume that you have a system called Unified Order Management. So traditionally in SOA, you have one app that will do that will achieve a particular business goal. Let's say processing customers' order and deliver what is intended by that order. So if you see, so we call this as a monolith application because it's one giant application that has all those services within. So if you go inside and see, there are multiple services like order service that will deal with orders, and we have customer service that will manage the customer, the new customer, the existing customer, etc. And we may have inventories, sales. So there are services within this unified order management that works together in a harmony, and then it produces something business value. So what if we take these services from that monolith, and then we, as Ashan said, if it can have its own process, if it can have its own CPU, if it can manage it, if it can have its own memory. So what if that service can be scaled independently? Let's say a customer service, if there's a demand for, if there's a load for customer service, then we can scale that independently if it's microservice. So that is how I perceive microservices, and to identify whether the exact microservices, you need to know these characteristics, like what Ashan and myself now mentioned. And there are some other characteristics of these microservices, like it is technologically agnostic. So that means in my case, in my example, I took out the order service and I took out the customer service. So we can write customer service in Java and order service in some other language. That makes sense. That is pragmatic to solve that problem. So that is one characteristic, and there can be many other characteristics as well. So that is how I perceive microservices.
Yeah, thank you. Now, one question that I always had was like, I had some difficulty in distinguishing between SOA and microservices always. Now, you can make SOA thin as possible, lightweight as possible. How DevOps play a major role when it comes to microservices? Like, what prominence it has? Some deviation. All right. So before coming to the DevOps, we need to compare. In traditional SOA development, we have cyber functional teams. Like for example, in this room, in that meeting room, we will have the UI teams, and in this room maybe the API teams are there, and database team is somewhere else. And then there's a high dependencies that we need to, like the time to market is delayed. Like we need to wait till UI guys finish the UI design, then the APIs need to be finalized, and then it's a mess. So in my example, which I took, Universal Order Manager, we broke the main business objective into multiple business capabilities. Customer service is mainly focused on the customer. Order service is mainly focused on order. So we need to break this functional team, and we need to move into a concept called smart teams or full stack team. So what I mean by a smart team is that team will have capacity or the expertise for the UI, user experience. That team is self-sufficient for API developments, and that team is self-sufficient for DB. So that team can focus on that business, like order, like for example customer service, and then they can deliver fast. They can
they can deploy that event. And once they deploy, even that same team can take the ownership of that component, and they can support it. So that is the DevOps culture. So that I see that we can achieve if we go from monolith to microservices.
Thanks. You guys can give this. I'll just speak aloud. It is easier for me. Now, Ashan. Now, because the audience that we have is we have a lot of newbies. Can you explain what are the building blocks? Right? What are the building blocks of a microservice? Using the terms that we are familiar, right? Non-microservice, exposed guide familiar.
Okay, so if I take the key component behind the microservice is the lightweight virtualization mechanism. It's not the additional, let's say, virtual machines, because it's maybe to call is lightweight. So we need containerization, maybe in terms of using some tools like Docker and etc. So that's the part of the building block of microservice, and the flexible communication mechanism, protocols, or I could say agnostic protocols, which allows us to link these microservices or you consume these microservices. And apart from that, we can think about the main components like gateways. It's not a must, but it's necessary. And also the monitoring mechanisms, because now we are talking about not a single service, we are talking about multiple or let's say fleet of services. So this becomes, the monitoring becomes kind of a important thing when defining microservices. So these are kind of building blocks I see around microservices.
Azeez, you have anything to that?
Yes, and one more thing that in microservice, we break, let's say in my example, I broke that service into many services. So in the production, we may need to have a service discovery mechanism. Like each service will auto-scale, we need to spawn new services when the load comes. And then in this case, I mentioned that can be used API gateway, so that API gateway should be able to know, okay, there's a new service now up and running. So for that, we can use service discovery mechanisms. There are many tools like Consul. There are many tools like that, so that we can use to achieve this automatic service discovery.
So, I'd like to go to the audience because we are, talking about the basics. Are you guys comfortable with? Are you guys getting what is these guys are sharing? Do you have any questions? Any questions? Especially the guys who have experience in Microservices. Do you see a different perspective than what our guys are talking here? Yeah.
Just my opinion is this. Upstream of DevOps, along with the development part of it, I don't see that as a core component that defines microservices from previous architecture practice. I think whatever the DevOps implementation, that should be decoupled from microservices, and services such as service discovery that should be provided from that layer. From that definition, service discovery shouldn't be the logic that's contained in there in microservice. It should be done by something else. This microservice should call some single endpoint, and the code should be done something. That's the only criticism we have.
Right. So what you are saying is it should be part of the infrastructure.
Yes.
Yes. Right. Okay. Guys, you have anything to add?
So I also agree with him because when I am defining microservices and DevOps, I didn't mean that it should be a part of or it should come inside the microservices. just part of microservices because when designing or developing this microservices, it plays a vital part in the delivery pipeline. So that's where the DevOps begins important, means the importance. And also regarding discovery, maybe Ashan can give some comments.
So that's also same things like so when you have many when your organization grows, when you mainly focus on a lot of microservices, so you can't waste time on let's say if you spawn a new service, then how are you going to maybe you need to restart the API gateway. So that's why the service discovery comes into play. There has to be some automatic. So that will enhance the productivity and also the time to market. So as Ashan said, that we can meet the deadline. So those things are good to have features of microservice ecosystem.
Okay, thanks. Any more questions? Yes.
I have a question actually. So as far as I know, the purpose of microservices is to kind of distribute the workload, I would say, for the purpose of rapid deployment and scalability, right? So wouldn't kind of having a central structure like services discovery would affect that? Like services discovery comes from SOA.
Well, microservices is not could you repeat what you said in English?
Well, from my experience, what I have seen is that service discovery essentially is not a part of microservices architecture.
I think the main factor behind that is centralized.
Yeah, because if you have service discovery, it becomes centralized architecture. So the purpose of introducing microservices is kind of decentralizing the workloads and having it, the services will be managing themselves. So,
Let me take an example. I'll take the order example. So we have a customer service, right? And we have the client code should know how to consume this customer service. So there are two ways that we can plan. So that's where the service register comes. Like say, client can talk to the service because you need to know, okay, this service registry is a managed service. So it also, we can consider it as a part of microservice ecosystem. So our actual domain business logics are microservices, and then we use these managed or backing services for that ecosystem. For example, if the client needs to consume the customer service, then he needs to know that. So client knows the service registry, he talks to that, and he gets a few others. And then the client dynamically load balance between one of the instances of the customer service. So that is one way of service discovery. And the other way is that client talks to the ELB or the API gateway. And the ELB or the API gateway or the load balance or the API gateway will talk to the service discovery, and then it will know, okay, what are the services up and running. For customer service, how many nodes, and that through the service discovery, know, okay, what are the healthy nodes and what are the nodes that is in there's a latency in the response. So it will enhance the overall architecture if you have service discovery. So that is so if you think about one microservice, no, yeah, we no need to go for the service registry.